Alright, so the next part of the build is going to be putting these pistons onto the rods. Now I went ahead and measured these, and I measured them down to about 1/2 gram thereabouts after the rings and everything were put on. So I have that list right here. There's 2 of these that weigh about 1 gram more than the other 2. So looking at my rods, they have also weighed out the big end and the small end. And so what I'm going to do is 2 of these on the small end are a little bit more than the other 2. So I'm just going to put the ones that have the lighter weight on the small end, on this end that goes into the piston. I'm going to put those with the heavier pistons. Again, it honestly doesn't really make a difference. Some people really like to balance their engines, and they'll actually get it down to, I believe, like 1/4 gram and things like that. But I'm not doing all that. They say it's honestly not necessary. I think Honda said balance to, they balance theirs to 2 grams, I believe. So anyways, alright, so let's see, this one. Alright, so my number 3 piston is my lightest piston, and this is my heaviest rod, at least on the small end. The total weight is actually dead nuts all across the board, which is awesome. So one of the things that I saw on a forum, or a couple different forums, as far as the placement with the rod and the piston, is you want to have these bearing tangs on the exhaust side. So I believe the larger valves are on the intake side, so that's the exhaust side, and I want to have the tangs on that side. So I will have the piston and rod oriented like this. Alright, what you want to do is go ahead and get your first circlip, whatever you want to call them. Fucking wrist pin clip, whatever. And put it in. One of the things I did that I noticed was a huge fucking help. Because as you see, I'm bleeding, and that was from assembling that first one. Alright, so basically the trick that I learned after watching a couple videos, actually the videos didn't help me that much because they did not show me this little handy tab thing here. I got a small flathead, and I believe this is actually for helping you remove the clip whenever you're disassembling, but I've actually found it very useful for getting the clip in there in the first place. Bam. So of course you just put the first piece in there in the groove. You hold down on the other end of it, and then you just pry it down in there, and it pretty much went right in. And of course this is plastic, so it's not going to scar anything other than maybe my hand. Bam. Now it's in there. Next, what you're going to want to do is get a little bit of assembly lube, my favorite part, playing with the lube. And lube it on up. Don't be stingy with the lube. Go ahead and lube up both sides. Go ahead and lube up your rod. Makes it slide in better. And then go ahead and lube up your pin. Alright, now what I'm going to do is go ahead and slide it on in there a little bit. Oop. Gotta making sure it's centered, make sure it's not wobbling. And then hit the motherfucker with a hammer. Rubber hammer, of course. Bad idea. Because I'm hitting it on the wrong side. Like a moron. Alright, so next what you want to do is put your wrist pin in partially in the one side. Oop, not that far. Stab it. There we go. Wipe a little bit of the lube off of yourself. Fucking heathen. Alright. Make sure your little tangs are lined up on the exhaust side. Again, some people said it didn't make a shit. A guy said that he had been running his boosted Honda for a year and a half, and he didn't do that. So he's saying, there's some people saying it doesn't make a shit, some people saying it does. I'm gonna be on the safe side and make sure that I do. We'll check it again. And then you put your other clip in pretty much the same way. Alright. Hopefully you haven't broke off any fingernails in there. I think I'm good. And we got another one done. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other two off camera, and then we'll get to the next part, putting the pistons and rods in the block.